All right. Trimming down some 17 HMR for 77 grainers. Basically turning that into that. And that's after the neck is chopped off, which is kind of a random length. Those Horror Fright chop saws, or whatever name they've plastered on, they're all the same. Mine says Anaconda on it, order from Amazon because it was cheaper, or available actually, I think. They're junk, but they work. There is a much nicer mini chop saw out there, but it's like $250, and you can burn up 5 of these things for that money. Boy, I have fixed and modified that a few times. But anyway, you've seen the shot shell clamp video. This is kind of more of that. Same thing, only different. This one got modified a bunch of times over time and just kind of weakened, and because the grip kept getting worse. But I got a bunch of this, and it's pretty durable. And I figured out what was happening. Then I made one out of plywood, which gripped fantastically for a while. Then it burnished. The wood compresses, and you have to keep widening, and pretty soon you're way up here. But while it lasted, it was pretty fantastic. But it didn't last all that long. So I decided to go back to the acrylic. Now I got the idea for this from Super 47 over on Cast Bullets. Reading through, and this is what he does. In his trimmer, he uses a plastic he made, a little clamp. So this is my rendition of it. He didn't post any pictures that I'm aware of. Now, this is the utility hole here. This one is dual purpose. This one is for storage. Don't wear on that one. And if you notice, there is a thin cut here versus this. 1/8 inch and 1/16. Now this allows it to flex. 1, easier, and 2, it increases the grip quite a bit. Shocking amount compared to, that being solid. I was blown away. What that one little slot could do. Even when I did it on this one, didn't I? Yeah. Those holes are farther apart, and this was weakened up. I had to grip it up here. And that added a ton of grip. But, okay, what went wrong with that? Well, can you see the warping? After I would make it and sand it, and I would take the torch and put really light heat to it to melt the grains and make it clear again. Well, it would warp it, and it took me a while to realize that that's what was happening, and these were getting closer together. So that's out. The beauty part is out, which kind of sucks because it would take that and make it look like that, and it was it looked like something came out of a factory. Got it right. If you really took your time and everything was drilled and sanded and rounded, it looked really good. But anyway, maybe a little steel wool might clean it up a little more, but it will not do that. It just smooth it out a bit. Anyway, let's see. If you measure these, usually about 219.5. We do that. You'll see, there's 730 seconds. But 730 seconds, in reality, my drill bits anyway, are a little snug. It all depends. Sometimes it's okay. think it depends on the stress in the material. If not, you go to a number 2, because that's the next best thing you got. It's a little bit over. This little slide here helps with that and gives you that little bit more. Slide right in. This is a bit, actually, this one's a little snug. I made another one, it's a little loose. But, I mean, you go to town on it, you can crush it. You'll put flat spots in it. So there is enough grip. And this is a whole lot more durable than that wood. But anyway. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one I actually want to trim. Found if you pulse this, you know, instead of just running it out, it'll actually cut better without trying to mushroom. And once it mushrooms, it really doesn't want to cut very well. Now, see, my target is 0.900. Oh, put this back too. Pretty close. Might have to check into it. I get something that'll come out 0.905. I tried to go no longer than 0.903. But yeah, it's not a huge. And not many come out under 0.900. They're usually like 0.901, 0.902, maybe 0.903. So pretty consistent. And hopefully that makes for good bullets, because yeah, this makes a bullet that's about 0.960 inches long. So they grow, yeah, 0.60 inches, 0.060 inches long. It's like, wow, longer. Yeah, that's the word. And a Sierra Match King 77 grain is 0.994 inches long. So, yeah, a little short. 0.034 inches shorter. There's nothing on the market. Same as the Swage bullet. You may approach it, but yeah, they're all, even the shortest ones are longer. Take 62 grain. 77 grain. Sadly, my seating depth records are gone. Did I go close to the lands, or did I try to seat close to what a factory bullet base would be, which is what I'm finding works best. If you want to get this velocities, that's what you do. You find how deep the base needs to go for volume. Like these are way off the lands, but I've shot at 0.662, I think. MOA. I'll take that. And that was going by base depth. But that was not, I don't know if that was in my understanding or thought process. I was testing these in 2018. So, you know. Time to find out all over again. But yeah, my thought is, you know, Eric Cortina chasing lands is futile. When I'm 80 thousandths off the lands with something like this and shooting a .662, I believe it was 662. 668, maybe, but I think it was 662. I tend to agree, you know. So try to get the capacity under the base and run with that and see how that treats you. Woo. Okay, this got a little weird. Oh, yeah, I'm at it. Like my old thing got kind of boogered up. And I don't have lather or anything. It'd be nice, but you know, I make stuff out of stuff I gather. You know, just materials on hand. And in this case, I was like, well, what I got? I got 245 ACPs and a 300 Winchester. That's what this is made of. Pressed together. A little bit of process, took a few tries to get right. And I probably could have made it a little short because a 22 Win mag, you gotta do like this to get in. I'd take that 300, cut most of the neck off, and then I trimmed it, but I should have trimmed it right down. But I didn't, because that would have gained me another 1/4 inch probably. And that gives me the angle of the neck to press this one over. And then the rim, after that, I had to grind that rim like all the way off. Just leave the angle of the brass, so that it was another ramp for this to go over. Because if you don't, it just bulges this and warps it, because it's bigger. But once you do that, get it lined up good in a vise, go slow, press them together. And yeah, this thing is actually freaking stable. It just clamps right in. And the number 2 bit, I drilled out the primer pocket in this. And the reason I put this on was because one primer pocket just isn't deep enough to stabilize things. So it goes through this one into the one on the 300 Winchester, which also drilled out, obviously not through. I left the bottom intact. Then I took a little chunk of lead core, put it in there. I flipped that bit in my drill press, run it in there, turned it on, and just pressed it till it was flat and compacted, and locked through the flash hole. And then I cleaned that up, and that gives me a flat base in there to index off of, because what it would do was drill in with the drill bit, and the angles and any inconsistency, it would index off that right here on this curve. And well, that led to inconsistencies. Now that I got that flatness in there, a lot more consistent. I mean, an extra 0.005 tightness when you still got a little bit of variance is a big thing. And it really made a difference. Getting these holes lined up, and in reality, this is broken in a little bit, but they pop in there. It is not a loose fit. I mean, you can pull it, and you gotta give it a little tug to bring it out. And getting those holes lined up. That's with the number 2 that's supposed to be bigger. Interesting, huh? But anyway, that's actually working really well. I just wish I would have squared that and trimmed that neck down a 1/4 inch deeper, like right down to the neck. Basically, I wanted it square so that when this pressed on, it would straighten up as much as possible. But it's really working good. Didn't cost me anything, just some time and figuring it out. And I haven't got much budget, so all this stuff is to more time than money, as I say. And it keeps me shooting. Keeps my kids shooting. Helps me to afford the new hotness there that I finally splurged on my first progressive. Haven't used it yet. I'll leave you with that. Have a good one. God bless and see ya.